Anyway, I want to let you know a little bit more about what you're standing on here. In 1993, the industry tells me, the coal industry tells me, this land was worth $1 million an acre. Okay. Now, as late as last year, the industry has made about $450 million to the industry. Since 1993, we've had 122 active vandalism and violence and shootings, to burning of cabins, to trying to hang my dog, shot my other dog twice. It's not been an easy battle. And one of the things I talked to Bill about this morning was, you can't encourage people to stand up in harm's way if you're not willing to do it yourself. And the one thing I told you, somebody made a statement, I think this morning, that 122 acts of violence. Well, if I was going to leave when the violence started, I'd have left in the early 90s or the late 80s. You know, you just got to keep going. You got to keep rebuilding. You got to let them know that what you believe in, you're going to stand for it. We've owned this land for 230 years. It's been undermined now the last 125 years by 9 different coal companies. The one thing the coal company has never had is care for the people. It's took from the people. It's took from the people. When I do give talks, I'm not really very nice sometimes. I've been nice for 18 years. It's time that being nice is over. I don't have that time no more. So that's what I do. I go places and get people mad. You know, contented people will never change a damn thing. You know? So let's go for a walk. You gotta know where you're walking. It's always best to have a poking stick, a walking stick. This mountain track's 3,000 feet long or more now. When I found it last November, it was about an inch wide. Now come over here, you'll see over here.
How old is this?
I found it in November, you know, but before that it was about that wide. And last week in November it opened up like this.
Just overnight, or?
Well, yeah, just overnight, yeah, actually. You know, I mean, with the enormous blasting that they're doing not only above but below ground too, it's it aggravates and disturbs the ground, because this land's been undermined for the last 125, 130 years. And when they're dynamiting like this, they're going to disturb the land. You know, it's going to move. My family been here about 230 years. The cemetery that I'm going to take and show y'all, it's been here about 270 years. So it's been here a while. And the coal company, they ain't been here in maybe 80 years. Yep, they got more control over this place than we do now. Well, we're right here where the church used to be. And the school used to be here. We're going out here to look over the Stover Cemetery. That's the name of the cemetery. It's called Stover. That's the name of the cemetery. That doesn't mean it's just got Stovers in it. I'm connected to it to my great-great-grandfather and his wife. That's his mother and father's over there. And my great-great-uncles and everything over there. These mountains here had cemeteries on every ridge. Every ridge, including these over here, has been dropped. Maybe 1 or 2 graves, or maybe 4 or 5, or maybe just a family. But they all had families where they was buried by their home place, where they lived. Doing this, when they tell me they're rolling the topsoil is my family here. That's what it is. It's my family. My family is the topsoil. Okay? Do I take it personally? Very personal to me. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you people and tell you that this here don't bother me. They're just plain damn lucky you can't arrest people for what they're thinking anymore.
Do you see those little black holes that line up along there?
That's caves going into underneath.
That's like where they've auger mined. It's where they've longwall mined.
No, that was deep mining too.
But it's under the cemetery.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've done the mountaintop removal. You know, they started over here. They've gone pretty much all the way around.
Right.
The only reason that green speck is left is because there's a cemetery up there.
Well, what we think now, because they come up to that point they then took off. I don't know how much is on the back side. That's how come they don't want us to go over there.
The piece of the cemetery that they have documented, or I would say misdocumented, at the State Historic Preservation Office is on this point.
Right here.
But they never got anybody. It didn't begin to reflect the number of graves that we saw when we went up there.
If you kind of look into the top of the trees, it kind of looks like there ain't nothing.
Oh God.
That.
See that whole thing. See where that gravel goes on down there, or that rubble?
Yeah.
That was all forested the
Yeah.
last time that we were up here.
Yeah.
That piece going on down that way.
Yeah.
And that's where Larry was saying the rest of the cemetery was.
Yeah.
Is down that you see green and then you see gravel.
I kind of wonder what the men, when they're doing this destruction, what they're really thinking. You know, I mean, I just wonder what they're thinking when they're blowing up cemeteries and they're dropping people's water and they disturbing the land like they're doing. I would really like to know at the time when they're doing it, they couldn't get no satisfaction from it. For me, God, look at this. You know, they find, you know, place to be, you know. Sometimes I can just imagine myself here by myself and no noise, just the birds and stuff, and all of a sudden they'll let one off. It's like you said yesterday, you said, you smell that dynamite? So, you know, I got my pictures on my walls with screws on them so they won't come off, you know. And I think somebody said yesterday, you mean that, you know, your stuff falls off your wall? Hell, it falls out of the cupboards, you know. So they break the cupboard doors. I got a glass cupboard door. They broke that, you know, just dynamiting. I've had rocks big as these cars come on this place. I've been caught in dynamite blast 4 times on my place. Not on their place, mine. They did the same thing to us that they did to the Native Americans. They gave the Native Americans black hills, and when they found gold, they wouldn't take them back. When they split this state in Virginia, they split it. They give the people here the mountain areas because, well, they ain't worth nothing. You can't even make a living in the mountains, okay? We found the black gold and they come to take it back. You know, what would you fight for? And what do you have that's not got a dollar bill signed to it? What would it be worth to you? You know, what would it be? Everything shouldn't have a price, you know. Some things you shouldn't be able to buy.
That's true.
And this place here is one of them. It may be the only one in this state that's not for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I can't save it by myself. That's why I'm talking to y'all. You know, if you let them take everything, even when you're right, if you let them take that, they win. They might be able to take most of it, but they can't take it all. And the only way they can is if you don't let them. If you let them, then they can. But I'll tell you, they ain't getting it here. You know, the easiest thing in the world. Walk away. You know, I got a pension. I don't have to worry about this place. I can get my check once a month. Don't have to look back. But I started here, the whole thing, you know. I make reference to this mountain as the mountain of the dinosaurs because I can show you over 200 years of my history in less than 10 minutes from here. How do you walk away from that?